The Minnesota Timberwolves have been stuck in the same place for 3 years. Good enough to make noise in the Western Conference, not good enough to win it all. And this summer, they finally decided that being good wasn't enough anymore. They made the most polarizing move of the entire offseason. They traded Naz Reid, a fan favorite and sixth man of the year, plus an unprotected 2033 first-round pick, 3 first-round swaps, and 3 second-round picks for LaMelo Ball. Some say this is the move that finally gets Anthony Edwards the help he needs. Others say it's the move that sinks the franchise.
To be honest, I expect Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball to be the best backcourt in the NBA. I expect Anthony Edwards to have an MVP-type season.
But here's the problem. The Wolves gave up their frontcourt depth. They gave up their future draft capital. And they bet everything on a player who has never won a playoff game. So let's break it down by the numbers. What did Minnesota actually gain? And what did they actually lose? Let's start with what's gone. Naz Reid, one of the best bench bigs in franchise history. Reid holds Timberwolves records for most three-pointers made and blocks off the bench in a single season. His 843 points off the bench ranks second in franchise history. He was the heart of their second unit. He was their insurance policy when Rudy Gobert sat. He was the guy who could stretch the floor, protect the rim, and bring energy every single night. And he's gone. Julius Randle is also gone. He was traded to Brooklyn just before the Ball deal. Together, Reid and Randle gave Minnesota frontcourt flexibility. They could go big, they could go small, they could match up with anyone in the West. Now they have Rudy Gobert, Jaden McDaniels, and a 19-year-old rookie named Joan Berringer who played just 7.9 minutes per game last season. That's a frontcourt problem. And in the Western Conference, frontcourt size matters. San Antonio is loaded with young talent. OKC is loaded with length. Denver still has Nikola Jokic. The Wolves just got smaller, in a conference that's getting bigger. That's a gamble. And here's the part nobody's talking about. Naz Reid was one of the most efficient bench scorers in the league. He averaged 13.5 points and 5.2 rebounds in just 24 minutes per game. Replacing that production is going to be a lot harder than people think. But here's why they did it. Anthony Edwards has never had a point guard like LaMelo Ball. Last season, Edwards led the NBA in catch-and-shoot three-point percentage, 49.6%, but he only attempted 139 of them. That's less than 2.3 per game. Dante DiVincenzo, his own teammate, attempted over 400 catch-and-shoot threes last season, nearly 3 times as many as Edwards. Edwards ranked 202nd in the league in catch-and-shoot attempts. That makes absolutely no sense for a 49.6% shooter.
We've got to find a way to generate more catch-and-shoot three-point shots for Anthony, who's absolutely elite at that, and take some of the burden of handling and creating off of his hands so he can get back.
The difference between Edwards' pull-up and catch-and-shoot three-point percentage was the third largest in the league. He's elite when he doesn't have to create. He's good when he does. LaMelo Ball creates for others. That's what he does. Last season, Ball averaged 20.1 points and 7.1 assists. He was one of only 4 players in the NBA to average at least 20 points, 7 assists, and 3 made threes per game. His assist percentage, 35.2%, ranks among the top 25 active point guards. He's a top-tier playmaker.
He's a lead guard. He's a real point guard, they're hard to find. I think you see the impact he has on his teammates, and I think it's probably well-timed. He's been through a lot, but he's still only 24 years old, and he's a guy that we think is going to elevate us, and hopefully we can help him a little bit as well.
And here's where the numbers get interesting. Ball created 15.4 points per game off assists last season. That's more than any Timberwolves player has created in the last 3 seasons. Edwards never had a playmaker who could find him in rhythm. Ball is that guy. But there's a reason Charlotte let him go. Ball has played more than 60 games just twice in 6 seasons. Chronic ankle injuries have haunted his career. He missed 141 of a possible 246 games between 2022 and 2025. He stayed healthy last season, 72 games. But is that the new normal or the exception? The Timberwolves are betting on the former. History suggests the latter. The other concern is defense. Ball has largely been a net negative on that end. He's a space cadet. He gambles. He loses focus. And now he's playing in a conference with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic, and Ja Morant. That's a problem.
But the biggest question on his whole career is, does he play a brand of basketball that translates to winning? And I think that Anthony Edwards can help him maybe lock in a little bit more, but I don't know if they can have enough, if they can lock in enough to be able to get over the Spurs or OKC.
And let's not pretend Edwards is a lockdown defender. He's slipped on that end in recent years. He gambles. He loses focus. Now put two defensive liabilities in the same backcourt. That's a backcourt that can be hunted in the playoffs, and the Wolves already have a center who gets played off the floor in the playoffs. That's a lot of weak links to hide. Now let's imagine the alternative. What if the Wolves had kept Reid and Randle? What if they'd used their picks to add a cheaper point guard? They'd have depth. They'd have flexibility. But they wouldn't have this. They wouldn't have a creator who can take the pressure off Edwards. They wouldn't have a player who makes everyone else better. Edwards wanted this. Tim Connolly said Edwards has as big a voice as anybody in roster decisions, and he's long talked about Ball. If this works, Edwards becomes an MVP candidate. The Wolves become a finals contender. If it doesn't, they have no picks, no depth, and maybe no Anthony Edwards, because star players don't stay in small markets forever when the team around them isn't winning. So here's the truth. The Timberwolves just made the biggest gamble of the offseason. They bet their future on LaMelo Ball. They bet their present on chemistry. And they're hoping the duo of Edwards and Ball can outscore everyone else, because they can't out-defend anyone anymore.
It's definitely going to be ups and downs. First year together, maybe a lot of downs, but we're just going to celebrate both of them. Yeah, celebrate the ups, celebrate the downs, and just, go with it.
The Western Conference is brutal. OKC won 64 games last season and reached the finals. San Antonio is loaded with young talent. The Wolves lost in the second round. They were clearly a step below.
I feel like I still got something to prove.
Are you not entertained, ladies and gentlemen?
Ant is 25. He's hungry. He's never had a point guard like this. The question is, will LaMelo Ball be remembered as the move that unlocked Anthony Edwards, or the move that sent the Timberwolves back to the lottery? One thing's for sure, the season isn't just going to be fascinating. It's going to be a total pressure cooker. If Ball stays healthy and unlocks Ant's lethal catch-and-shoot game, Minnesota could boast the most unguardable backcourt in the entire league. They'll play at breakneck speed, warp defensive coverages, and turn target center into pure chaos. But if defensive lapses multiply and those ankle injuries resurface, this move could set the franchise back half a decade. There is no middle ground. It's either a championship parade or a complete catastrophe. Now we want to hear from you. Is the Ant and LaMelo experiment destined for a ring, or did Minnesota just throw away their future? Drop your exact win total predictions in the comments below, hit that like button, and hit subscribe so you don't miss a single breakdown as this story unfolds.